On the day my husband married another woman, my face appeared on the giant wedding screen. The problem? I was supposed to be dead. 3 months earlier, everyone watched my funeral. My husband cried. My mother cried. The media cried. A closed coffin was buried beneath white drosses. The death certificate was signed. The hospital confirmed it. The police confirmed it. The city moved on. And yet, at the exact moment CEO Damien Frost lifted the wedding ring to place it on another woman's finger, every screen inside the cathedral suddenly flashed. Guests screamed. The music stopped. The bride froze. Then my face appeared, covered in dirt, covered in blood, breathing, alive. I stared directly into the camera and said 5 words, "Damien, why did you bury me?" The cathedral exploded into chaos. Nobody understood. Because 3 hours earlier, I woke up inside a shipping container beneath an abandoned harbor. The first thing I saw was darkness. The second thing I saw was a countdown timer. 4 hours, 59 minutes, 48 seconds. I couldn't feel my hands. Plastic. Restraints. My mouth tasted like chemicals. For several seconds, I genuinely believed I was dead. Then pain arrived. Real pain. My wrists hurt. My head hurt. My lungs hurt. Dead people didn't hurt. I was alive. Barely. The timer continued ticking. Sounded broken. I forced myself upright. Metal walls surrounded me. Cargo container. No windows. One steel door. One timer. Nothing else. Then a speaker crackled. A man's voice filled the darkness. "If you're hearing this, congratulations." I froze. "You survived. Who are you?" "No." Answer. The recording continued. "You have less than 5 hours before oxygen levels become critical." My pulse exploded. The voice continued casually. "There is one key hidden somewhere inside the container. If you escape before the timer ends, you live." What kind of sick game is this? The answer came immediately. The same game they played with your father. Silence. Absolute silence. My father, the man who supposedly died 20 years ago. I stopped moving. The voice continued. "Good luck, Evelyn." The speaker went dead. My breathing accelerated. Nobody knew that name. Not anymore. After marrying Damien Frost, the world knew me as Evelyn Frost. But before that, I was Evelyn Hart, daughter of Daniel Hart, a man erased from history. Him, nobody mentioned him. Every record connected to him had vanished. And now some stranger inside a speaker just casually brought him up. That was impossible, unless whoever kidnapped me knew things they shouldn't. I searched the container, every corner, every bolt, every crack. Nothing. The timer kept falling. 4 hours 31 minutes and 7 seconds. 4 hours 58 minutes and 41 seconds. Then I noticed something strange. One section of the floor sounded hollow. I kicked it. Again. Again. Metal cracked. A small compartment opened. Inside sat a silver key. Disappeared. Because beneath the key was a photograph. I picked it up and nearly dropped it. The photograph showed my funeral. Thousands attended. Media everywhere. White roses, black umbrellas. Everything exactly as I remembered. Coffin. Watching. Smiling. A man who should not exist. My father, alive. I stared. 20 years. 20 years believing he was dead. And there he stood beside my coffin. Smiling. The timer continued counting. 3 hours, 41 minutes and 16 seconds. Open. Fresh air flooded inside. I stumbled out. The harbor stretched around me. Abandoned warehouses. Rusting cranes. Fog. Nobody in sight. Then my phone started ringing. I froze. I hadn't seen a phone. Yet one sat on top of the container. Answered. A woman laughed softly. "Congratulations. Who are you? You escaped. What do you want?" The woman ignored the question. "Your husband is getting married." My blood froze. "What, today?" "No, right now." I almost dropped the phone. "No." The woman sounded amused. "Turn around." I did. Giant electronic billboard overlooked the harbor, live broadcast, cathedral, guests, media, flowers, and Damien Frost, my husband, standing beside another woman, preparing to marry her. My entire body went cold, and he was already replacing me. Something broke inside me. The woman spoke again. Interesting, isn't it? I couldn't breathe. Who are you? The only person trying to help you. Why? Because you're asking the wrong question. I hated that answer instantly. What question should I ask? Paused, then said quietly, why did your husband receive $50 million after your death? Silence. My heart stopped. What? Check the insurance policy. The call disconnected. I stood frozen beside the harbor, already worth billions. Why would he care about 50 million, unless the money wasn't important, unless something else came with it? The billboard continued showing the wedding, then suddenly another image interrupted the broadcast. A face, my face, not live, recorded. Stared. Confused. The recording showed me trapped inside the container. The footage had obviously been captured hours earlier. Then I heard my own recorded voice. Damien, why did you bury me? The cathedral exploded. Froze. Every camera pointed toward the screen. I watched everything from the harbor, unable to move, unable to think. Then something strange happened. Damien didn't look shocked that I was alive. He looked terrified that the video existed. A very different reaction. Noticed it immediately. My phone vibrated again. A text message, one sentence. Joe to storage, Unit 144, your father left something there. I stared, then laughed bitterly. 3 hours ago I was dead, now my dead father was apparently leaving me storage units. Absolutely perfect. I stole a motorcycle from an abandoned loading area. Not permanently. Probably. The city blurred around me as I raced towards Storage District 9. Questions flooded my head. Who kidnapped me? Father alive? And why did everyone keep acting like I was the center of some secret war? The storage facility appeared 40 minutes later. Massive, private, heavily secured, Unit 144 sat near the rear. A keypad blocked entry. I approached. The screen activated. Automatically, enter birth date. Easy. I entered mine. Access denied. I frowned. Entered my wedding date. Denied. Father's birthday. Denied. Then I noticed something. The keypad wasn't asking for my birth date. It was asking for a birth date. Photograph. My father standing beside my coffin, alive. I entered his birthday. The lock clicked open. My pulse accelerated. The door rolled upward. Inside sat a single black briefcase. Nothing else. No furniture. No boxes. No documents. Just the case. I opened it. Immediately understood why someone killed me. Inside were photographs, thousands of photographs, politicians, CEOs, judges, bankers, celebrities. Some of the most powerful people in the country. Every photograph showed the same thing. Gatherings, cash exchanges, illegal transactions, bribes, crimes, evidence. Enough evidence to destroy half the country's elite. My hands shook. Then I found a folder, marked with one word. Frost, Damien. I opened it, and felt the floor disappear beneath me. Showed Damien meeting people I had never seen before. Armed men, government officials, corporate executives. The dates stretched back years, even before we married. Partners. Not enemies, not strangers, partners. I stared at the image. Nothing made sense anymore. If Damien knew my father, then why pretend he was dead? If my father trusted Damien, then why was I buried alive? And if they worked together, a gun clicked behind me. I froze. A woman's voice spoke. Put the photographs down. I slowly turned. 3 armed people blocked the entrance. The woman in front wore black tactical gear. Calm eyes, dangerous posture, professional. She pointed her weapon directly at me. Give me the briefcase. Grip. No, the woman smiled. Wrong answer. Before anyone could move, gunfire erupted outside. The attackers spun around. More shots. Screams. Someone crashed through the storage entrance. A man, tall, bleeding, holding a rifle. For one impossible second, I thought I was. Because I knew him. I knew that face. Every birthday, every childhood memory, every family photograph. My father, Daniel Hart, alive, very alive, and extremely angry. He shot one attacker, then another. Dove for cover. My father grabbed me. Run! I stared. Dad, no time. Dad, no time. He dragged me toward a rear exit. Bullets shattered concrete around us. The storage facility descended into war. We escaped through a service corridor. Reaching an underground parking garage, did we stop? I stared at him, unable to speak, unable to process. 20 years, believing he was dead, and now he stood in front of me. Breathing, bleeding, alive. He looked older, harder, more tired. But it was him, without question. Dad. His eyes softened. Hi, kid. Tears filled my eyes immediately. Then I punched him hard. He winced. Fair. You let me think you were dead. Fair, you disappeared for 20 years. Also fair, you owe me answers. His expression darkened. That's why you're in danger. I folded my arms. Try me. He looked around the garage, then back at me. Evelyn, your death wasn't the beginning. What was? He took a deep breath. The day you married Damien Frost. My pulse accelerated. What about it? His answer changed everything. That marriage wasn't an accident. Absolute silence. What? You were chosen. For what? His jaw tightened. Then he spoke the words that shattered every assumption I had left. You weren't supposed to become Damien's wife. I stared. Then what was I supposed to become? My father looked genuinely afraid. Terrified me more than anything else, because men like Daniel Hart didn't scare easily. Then he answered, you were supposed to become the next owner. And before I could ask owner of what? Headlights flooded the garage. Every exit blocked, every escape route gone. My father looked at the vehicles, then at me, and for the first time since I met him again, he seemed genuinely worried. That's impossible, I swallowed. What is? His answer came immediately. They found you too fast. The doors opened. Men stepped out. Not police, not military, something worse. All wearing the same silver emblem. A crown wrapped in chains. My father's face went white. I looked at him. Who are they? He whispered only 2 words. The custodians. Problem, then any of the questions it solved. The custodians. The name hit the air like a gunshot. I looked from the silver emblems to my father's face. In all the years I knew him, Daniel Hart had never looked afraid. Angry, constantly. The black vehicles formed a perfect circle around the parking garage. No gaps, no mistakes, no panic. The kind of formation used by people who already knew they had won. My father grabbed my arm. Stay behind me. I almost laughed. Dad, there are like 50 of them. Exactly. Was not encouraging. A man stepped from the center vehicle, gray suit, silver gloves, no weapon visible, which somehow made him look even more dangerous. He smiled. Daniel. My father didn't smile back, Marcus. The man nodded. 20 years. Not long enough. Marcus laughed softly. The people around him laughed too. Not because the joke was funny, because they were trained to. I hated them immediately. Marcus turned toward me, and for the first time, his smile became genuine. Evelyn. My skin crawled. The way he said my name sounded familiar, like someone greeting an old friend, or a possession. I crossed my arms. Do I know you? No. Then stop saying my name like that. The smile widened. Interesting, he actually seemed amused. My father stepped between us. Still insane? That's not what your wife used to say. The garage became silent. My father's eyes changed instantly. Cold, dangerous, murderous. I immediately noticed whoever Marcus was, he knew exactly which buttons to press. Raised both hands. My apologies. He didn't sound sorry, not even slightly. Then he looked back at me. Evelyn, come with us. No, that wasn't a request. Then the answer is still no. Several custodians smiled. Apparently they found that amusing too. Marcus nodded slowly. Your mother said the same thing. Everything stopped. What? My voice came out sharper than intended. Marcus tilted his head. Interesting. What about my mother? You don't know. My stomach tightened. Know what? His smile disappeared. Daniel, you've done a terrible job. To kill him. I was starting to support the idea. Marcus sighed. Evelyn, your mother worked for us. Silence. Complete silence. No, yes. No, yes. My father interrupted. He's lying. Marcus immediately answered. The tension inside the garage became almost physical. Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. Then Marcus reached inside his jacket. Several rifles instantly aimed at him. He ignored them. Slowly, carefully, he removed a photograph. Old, worn, folded. He tossed it toward me. I caught it. Mother, my father, and Marcus, standing together, smiling, like friends, like partners, like family. My heartbeat became loud enough to hear. I looked up. What is this? Nobody answered. I looked at my father. Dad. He stayed silent. Dad. Still silent. That was answer enough. My pulse exploded. You knew him. Yes. The word barely escaped his mouth. I laughed once. A short, bitter sound. Of course, Marcus nodded. Now we're making progress. I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. What are the custodians? Nobody answered immediately. Marcus looked at me, then at the people surrounding us, then back. Finally, he said, the people who own the things nobody knows exist. That was possibly the most ridiculous sentence I had ever heard. What does that even mean? It means governments change and collapse. Okay, presidents come and go. Okay, but some things remain. The way he said it made my skin crawl, like he wasn't describing an organization, like he was describing a natural disaster or a religion. My father suddenly moved. Fast, much faster than I expected from a man. His age? A flash grenade exploded across the garage. White light. Thunder. Chaos. People shouted. Weapons fired. Someone grabbed me. My father, we ran. Bullets tore through concrete behind us. A side door exploded inward. Planned an escape route. Good. Because I definitely had not. We sprinted upward. 3 floors. 4. 5. My lungs burned. Finally, we burst onto a rooftop. Wind hit immediately. A helicopter waited. Of course it did. Pilot waved. Move. We ran. Below us, custodians poured from the building. Dozens, then hundreds. Where were these people even coming from? The helicopter lifted seconds before they reached us. Gunfire erupted. The aircraft swerved. Then did I finally breathe. My father collapsed into a seat. The pilot accelerated hard. Nobody spoke for nearly a minute. Then I held up the photograph. Start talking. My father closed his eyes. No. I stared. No, no. I genuinely considered opening the helicopter door and pushing him out. He must have seen it on my face. Because he immediately added, not because I don't want to. Then why? Because we're already late. I hated that answer. Late for what? His phone rang. He looked at the screen. Then immediately swore. Broadcast played. Breaking news, Damien Frost. My husband. Arrested. I sat upright. What? Reporters surrounded police vehicles. Damien was being escorted through a crowd. Handcuffed. Accused of financial crimes. Corporate fraud. Conspiracy, 6 charges. None of which made any sense. My father looked grim. This is bad. Bad? I pointed at the screen. He's being arrested. Exactly. I frowned. You think he's innocent of those charges? Yes. My father laughed. Absolutely. That answer surprised me. Taut compliments. The helicopter banked sharply. The pilot suddenly looked nervous. Sir. What? We have company. My father immediately turned. I followed his gaze. 3 helicopters appeared behind us. Black. Fast. Closing. The custodians. Of course, who else would it be? Lock. Warning alarms. Screamed. The pilot cursed. We're not outrunning them. My father nodded. I know. That was a strange response. Too calm. Way too calm. Then I noticed something. He wasn't worried. He was waiting. For what? Then a 6th. All rising from different parts of the city. None carried custodian markings. The newcomers opened fire. Immediately, the sky became a battlefield. I stared. What now? My father looked genuinely confused. I have no idea. That got my attention. What do you mean? Didn't call them. The aircraft surrounding us exchanged fire. One custodian helicopter exploded. Another retreated. The newcomers moved with military precision. Professional. Looked back. Friendlies? My father answered honestly. I don't think so. That was somehow worse. One of the unknown helicopters pulled alongside us, close enough to touch. A woman sat inside, dark suit. Single message filled the screen. Don't trust Daniel. My breath caught. I looked at my father, then back at the message. The woman pointed at him, then drew a finger across her throat. The meaning was obvious. Danger. The helicopter separated. The woman disappeared into the Pauli clouds. I stared after her. My father noticed. What? I slowly handed him the phone. He read the message. His expression changed. Not surprise. You know her. Silence. Dad. More silence. Dad. Finally, he sighed. Unfortunately. My stomach dropped. Who is? She? His answer came instantly. The woman who murdered your grandfather. The helicopter cabin became silent. Very silent, because there was one tiny problem with that statement. My grandfather was still alive. War? There was another. Grandfather. Or the entire situation was somehow even more insane than I already believed. And judging by my life recently, the third option felt most likely. Before I could ask another question, the pilot suddenly shouted, "Oh no," every instinct in my body activated. Now? The pilot pointed ahead. I followed his finger. The helicopter wasn't heading toward an airport, or a safe house, or a military base. It was heading directly toward Frost Tower, Damien's headquarters, the same building currently surrounded by police. Where my husband had just been arrested, my father stared through the windshield. For the first time in hours, he looked genuinely alarmed. No, I looked at him. What? His face had gone pale. They got there first. Who? His answer came immediately. The thing Damien was protecting. The helicopter raced toward the tower. And somehow I already knew that whatever waited inside that building was far more important than Damien's arrest, my fake death, or even the custodians themselves. Running from a conspiracy, he was acting like a man running out of time. Frost Tower grew larger through the helicopter windshield. Glass, steel, money, power, the tallest building in the city. The headquarters of Frost International, the empire my husband spent 15 Taftas years building. Right now, it looked like a war zone. Police vehicles surrounded the streets, news helicopters circled above, crowds packed every sidewalk, but something else caught my attention. Black vans, dozens of them. No logos, no plates, no markings. My father saw them too. His face darkened immediately. Too late. What? The custodians are already inside. I looked again. The vans were positioned perfectly. Every entrance, every exit, every underground access point. Not police, not security. Lowered altitude. We're not landing there. No, my father agreed. We're landing on top, naturally, because apparently normal entrances no longer existed in my life. The helicopter swept around the tower. Wind slammed against the aircraft. Then the rooftop appeared empty. First. Then movement. Armed figures emerged from behind ventilation systems. My pulse jumped. The pilot swore. Not empty. Gunfire erupted instantly. The helicopter banked hard. Bullets shattered glass. Warning alarms screamed. My father looked furious. They expected us. Who keeps telling everyone where we are? Nobody answered. Because nobody knew, or nobody wanted to say, neither option was comforting, the helicopter pulled away from the roof. Then my phone vibrated. I almost ignored it. Almost. Unknown number. Again. I answered. Hello? A familiar voice replied. You're making this harder than necessary. My blood froze. Marcus, the custodian leader, I looked out the window. No sign of him. Yet somehow he sounded close. Very close. What do you want? To save your life, I laughed, a genuinely ridiculous statement. Your people tried to kill me. No, yes, no. The confidence in his voice bothered me, because liars usually hesitated. Don't work for us. Silence. I looked toward the rooftop. The gunmen continued firing. My father noticed my expression. Who is it? I mouthed one word. Marcus, his jaw tightened. I'm listening. The tower contains something. That belongs to you. I almost laughed. Apparently everything belonged to me lately. Companies, vaults, secrets, conspiracies. Fantastic. What is it? A file. What file? The original file. The phrase landed strangely. Original, not important, not secret, original. Other file was a copy. My father suddenly lunged toward the phone. I pulled it away. No, Marcus heard the movement. Daniel is there. Of course he knew. Of course. Nothing surprised me anymore. Marcus lowered his voice. Evelyn, whatever happens next, don't let him reach level 57. The call ended. Immediately. No goodbye. No explanation. Only another mystery. I stared at the dead screen, then looked at my father. His expression told me everything. He knew exactly what Marcus meant. He knew Agdia. Liar. No idea. Liar. He looked away. Confirmation. Definitely a liar, the pilot interrupted. Guys, what? We've got another problem. I looked out the window. A second helicopter approached. Fast. Very fast. No markings, no visible weapons, just speed. Course. The pilot cursed. What's he doing? Nobody answered. Then something impossible happened. The unknown helicopter matched our speed perfectly. Door opened, a woman stepped into view, not sitting, Doc. Silver. Hair. The same woman from earlier. The one who warned me not to trust my father. She held up another tablet. 3 words appeared. Look below you. I frowned, then looked down at Frost Tower. Every screen suddenly changed. News broadcasts vanished. Advertisements disappeared. One image replaced everything. My face, a younger version, about 12 years old, standing beside Damien. My heart stopped. The helicopter cabin became silent. Looked 12 too. Children. We were children, standing together, smiling. I stared. What? The image changed. Another photograph. Me, Damien. Again, different location. Different age. Then another, and another, and another. Hundreds, thousands, years of photographs. Breathing accelerated. No. My father closed his eyes. That reaction told me everything. No. The city below us watched. Millions of people, every screen showing the same images. Proof. Undeniable proof. Damien and I knew each other long before our marriage. Long before adulthood. Long before everything. The problem? I didn't remember any of it. At all. I turned toward my father. What is this? Silence. What is this? More silence. The pilot wisely stayed out of it. The photographs kept changing. Birthday parties, schools, parks, events. Damien. Always together. Always close. The kind of history impossible to fake. Then, one final image appeared, Gial official. The camera zoomed in. I read the title. Jew Ardian Ship Transfer Agreement. My pulse exploded. 2 names sat at the bottom. Damien Frost's father, signed. Witnessed. Approved. I looked at my father. His silence confirmed everything. You sold me. His eyes snapped open. No, you signed papers. It wasn't like that. You signed papers. It saved your life. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because I was running out of sane reactions. That's everyone's excuse. The silver-haired woman appeared on the tablet again. Another message. Hey, ask Kim about the fire. I looked up. What fire? My father's face changed instantly. There it was, fear, real fear, the kind he never showed, and suddenly I knew. Whatever happened in that fire mattered more than the fake death, more than the custodians, more than the tower, more than anything. The pilot suddenly shouted. Incoming, a missile streaked toward us. Everything happened at once. The missile missed by feet. An explosion rocked the sky. The unknown helicopter vanished into smoke. Gone. Just gone. The silver-haired woman disappeared. Again, my father stared through the smoke. Damn it. You know her. Yes. Who is she? He hesitated. Too long. Way too long. Then, finally answered. Your aunt. The world stopped. What, my sister? I stared. I don't have an aunt. You do? No? Yes? No? Yes? I wanted to throw something, preferably him. Instead, I pointed. Dead? No? Missing? No? Secret? Very. Of course, could collect them. The pilot suddenly pointed ahead. We're getting one shot. I followed his gaze. A maintenance platform extended from Frost Tower. Unprotected. Temporary. Accessible. Our only opening. My father immediately moved. Fast. Dangerously fast. Wind screamed. Metal shook. The platform rushed closer. 20 feet. 10. 5. Impact. Hard. The aircraft slammed against the structure. The door flew open. My father jumped out first. I followed. The pilot stayed behind. Engines running. Ready for escape. Good thinking. Because escape was becoming my favorite hobby. The maintenance platform connected to a service entrance. Unlocked. Too easy. Far too easy. My father noticed too. This is wrong. What is, they want us inside. The realization hit immediately. Obvious. Deliberate. Waiting. I looked at the door, then at the city. Then back. Somewhere inside this tower sat answers. Or at least more questions. Probably more questions. Let's be honest. My life specialized in questions. Silent. Waiting. My father grabbed my arm. Evelyn. What if we find level 57 first? I stared. The fact that he finally acknowledged it caught my attention. What happens? For several seconds he didn't answer. Then he spoke quietly. The truth starts. The empty hallway. And somehow that frightened me more than the missiles, helicopters, gunmen, secret organizations, fake deaths, and buried conspiracies combined. Because everybody around me seemed terrified of the same thing. Not war. Not money. Not power. And somewhere above us, on level 57, someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to make sure it stayed buried.